On October 31, 1978, in the town of Haddonfield, Illinois, Michael Myers is shot by his psychiatrist Dr. Sam Loomis and falls off a balcony. He survives his wounds and escapes into the night. Wandering the alleys, he steals a kitchen knife from an elderly couple, the Elrids, and kills Alice Martin, the teenage girl next door. Meanwhile, Laurie Strode, who narrowly avoided being killed that night, is taken to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital while Loomis continues his pursuit of Michael, accompanied by Sheriff Lee Brackett. Loomis mistakes teenager Ben Tramer for Michael due to Ben wearing a similar mask, resulting in Ben being hit by a police car which veers into a nearby van and bursts into flames, burning Tramer to death. The bodies of Annie Brackett, Linda Van Der Klock, and Bob Sims are discovered by the police at the Wallace residence. Upon learning his daughter Annie has been killed by Michael, Sheriff Brackett blames Loomis and abandons the search, leaving Deputy Gary Hunt to take his place. At the hospital, paramedic Jimmy Lloyd develops an attraction to Laurie, but head nurse Virginia Alves limits the time he spends with her. After hearing a newsflash revealing Laurie's location, Michael makes his way to the hospital, where he cuts the phone lines and disables all the cars in the parking lot by slashing all the cars' tires so no one can escape and call for help. Wandering the halls in search of Laurie, he kills the security guard Bernard Garrett, Dr. Frederick Mixter, paramedic Bud Scarlatti, and several nurses throughout the night. In her hospital room, Laurie dreams about the time she learned she was adopted, and remembers she once visited a young Michael at the sanitarium. Jimmy and nurse Jill Franco grow increasingly concerned when they discover that more and more staff have gone missing throughout the night and search the hospital for Laurie, who is trying to evade Michael. As Jill tries to start the car to drive to the sheriff's department, it fails to start and she sees that all the car's tires in the parking lot have been slashed. After finding Mrs. Alves dead, strapped to a gurney with an empty IV needle in her arm draining all of her blood out of her body, Jimmy turns to run to go for help, but he slips in a pool of her blood and knocks himself unconscious, giving himself a concussion. Meanwhile, Loomis is informed that Michael broke into the local elementary school earlier. He discovers clues connecting Michael to Samhain and the occult, which might explain his apparent indestructibility. His colleague Marion Chambers arrives to escort him back to Smith's Grove on the governor's orders and under the enforcement of a U.S. Marshal Terrence Gummel. On the way, Marion tells Loomis that Laurie is Michael's younger sister. She was put up for adoption after the death of Michael's parents, with the record sealed to protect the family. Realizing that Michael is after Laurie and being told she was brought to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, Loomis forces Gummel at gunpoint to drive back to Haddonfield. Jill finally finds Laurie, only to be killed by Michael, who then pursues Laurie through the hospital. She manages to escape to the parking lot and hides in a car. Jimmy regains consciousness and soon arrives and tries to start and drive the car to safety, but passes out again due to the concussion sustained from the slip and fall, causing the horn to blare, attracting Michael's attention. Loomis, Marion, and Gummel reach the hospital just in time to save Laurie. Loomis shoots Michael until he falls down, seemingly dead. While Marion calls the police on Gummel's radio, the marshal tries to check Michael's pulse as Loomis warns him to stay away, knowing he isn't dead. Michael revives and slits Gummel's throat with a scalpel. Loomis and Laurie run into an operating room, where he gives her Gummel's gun before being stabbed by Michael. Laurie shoots Michael in both eyes, blinding him. As he swings the scalpel around the space violently, the two fill the room with flammable gas. Loomis orders Laurie to get out before igniting the gas, immolating himself and Michael in an explosion. Laurie watches as Michael, engulfed in flames, emerges from the fire before finally collapsing. The next morning, she is transferred to another hospital, traumatized but alive.